വാർത്തകളിലേക്ക് എല്ലാ പ്രേക്ഷകർക്കും സ്വാഗതം.
പതിനാറ് കുട്ടികൾക്കാണ് ഷിഗല്ല സ്ഥിരീകരിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഇറാനുമായുള്ള യുദ്ധം അവസാനിപ്പിച്ചെന്ന് US പ്രസിഡന്റ് ഡൊണാൾഡ് ട്രംപ്. ഇരു രാജ്യങ്ങളും തമ്മിലുള്ള കരാർ ഈ ആഴ്ചയിൽ തന്നെ പ്രാബല്യത്തിൽ വരുമെന്നും യൂറോപ്പിൽ വെച്ചായിരിക്കും കരാറിൽ ഒപ്പിടുക എന്നും ഡൊണാൾഡ് ട്രംപ് പറഞ്ഞു. കരാറിന്റെ ഭാഗമായി ആണവായുധങ്ങൾ വികസിപ്പിക്കുകയോ വാങ്ങുകയോ ചെയ്യില്ലെന്ന് ഇറാൻ സമ്മതിച്ചതായും ട്രംപ് വ്യക്തമാക്കി. അമേരിക്ക ഇറാനുമേലുള്ള ഉപരോധങ്ങളും നീക്കുമെന്നും ഇതോടെ എണ്ണവില
മറ്റൊരു വാർത്ത, നടിയെ ആക്രമിച്ച കേസിലെ മെമ്മറി കാർഡ് ചോർന്നെന്ന അതിജീവിതയുടെ ഹർജിയിൽ നിർണായക നടപടിയുമായി ഹൈക്കോടതി. ഹർജി ഹൈക്കോടതി ഫയലിൽ സ്വീകരിച്ചു. മെമ്മറി കാർഡ്, പെൻഡ്രൈവ് എന്നിവ രജിസ്ട്രാർക്ക് കൈമാറണം. സീൽഡ് കവറിൽ ഹൈക്കോടതിയിൽ ഹാജരാക്കാനാണ് നിർദ്ദേശം നൽകിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. വിചാരണ കോടതിക്കാണ് നിർദ്ദേശം നൽകിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഹർജിയിൽ 1 മാസത്തിനകം മറുപടി നൽകാൻ പ്രോസിക്യൂഷനും കോടതി നിർദ്ദേശം നൽകിയിട്ടുണ്ട് എന്നുള്ള വാർത്തയാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ പുറത്ത് വരുന്നത്. നമുക്ക് മറ്റൊരു വാർത്തയിലേക്ക് പോകാം. RSS മേധാവി മോഹൻ ഭാഗവത് അദ്ദേഹം സഞ്ചരിച്ച ട്രെയിന് നേരെ കല്ലേറ് ഉണ്ടായി എന്നുള്ള ഒരു വാർത്തയാണ് വരുന്നത്. RSS മേധാവി മോഹൻ ഭാഗവത് സഞ്ചരിച്ച ട്രെയിനിന് നേരെ കല്ലേറ് ഉണ്ടായി. ശതാബ്ദി എക്സ്പ്രസിന്റെ ജനൽച്ചില് തകർന്നു. കാൺപൂരിൽ നിന്ന് ഡൽഹിയിലേക്ക് യാത്ര ചെയ്യുകയായിരുന്നു മോഹൻ ഭാഗവത്. ഫിറോസാബാദ് വാർത്തകളിലേക്ക് എല്ലാ പ്രേക്ഷകർക്കും
చిన్న విడత ఇక్కడ తొందరన్నాడు
Laudetur Jesus Christus. Praise be Jesus Christ. Welcome to this live broadcast of Pope Leo XIV's visit to the Las Raíces Migrant Center, a migrant facility in Tenerife, Spain, in the Canary Islands. My name is Devin Watkins, and I'll be providing the commentary and translation for this papal event. Pope Leo has just arrived here and just stepped off the plane in Tenerife from Gran Canaria. From wherever you're joining us, I'd like to welcome you to this live broadcast. A warm welcome to all of you from all of our following on various Vatican media channels and all of our partner broadcast stations such as EWTN, Catholic Faith Network in America, Salt and Light TV, Shalom World TV, Atma Darshan TV, Luminous Radio, and Catholic TV.
Bienvenido a esta diócesis de San Cristóbal de la Laguna, a estas islas Canarias.
Pope Leo is being welcomed by the Bishop of San Cristóbal de la Laguna, Bishop Santiago, Bishop Eloy Alberto Santiago. Holy Father, welcome to this Diocese of San Cristóbal de la Laguna, to these western Canary Islands, which receive you with an open heart, grateful for your presence among us this morning, as a pilgrim of peace and hope who invites us to lift our gaze in order to discover the presence of God in our future and at the same time in our present. Thank you for your desire to know firsthand the harsh reality of those who on many occasions are forced to leave their native land and their family, driven by the dream of achieving a better future for themselves and their loved ones, fleeing wars and violence, economic and social injustices, and the drama of hunger and poverty. In recent years, tens of thousands of people from the African continent have arrived on our islands, Europe's southern border, mostly on the island of El Hierro, at the pier of Las Restinga, driven by that dream of a better life. They have been the most fortunate. Sadly, there are many others, thousands of others, who have not reached their goal and have lost their lives along the so-called Atlantic route. Hearing the accounts of those who have made that journey in a completely inhuman and precarious way, in the cayucos, or small boats that arrive on our shores, where they reach land exhausted, cannot leave us indifferent. Your Holiness expressed this on the occasion of the Jubilee of Migrants last October in St. Peter's Square, when referring to the history of many of our migrant brothers and sisters, the drama of their flight from violence, the suffering that accompanies them, the fear of not making it, the risks of dangerous crossings along the coasts of the sea, their cry of pain and desperation. And you added, those boats that hope to sight a safe port where they can stop, and those eyes full of anguish and hope that seek firm land to reach, cannot and must not encounter the coldness of indifference or the stigma of discrimination. Those eyes are the ones now looking at you, Holy Father, full of hope, eager to hear your word. We are in one of the migrant reception facilities of the government of Spain, managed by the association ACEM. It is the largest camp in all of the Canary Islands, which, at the height of the migration crisis at the end of 2024, came to house almost 4,000 people, although today there are far fewer due to the notable decrease in the flow of migration in recent months. After the official greeting from a representative of the government, Your Holiness, the current director of this center will take the floor, and afterward we will hear 2 testimonies from migrants received here. All of this will prepare us to listen to your illuminating and hope-filled words, Holy Father, for which we already thank you. And now we will hear from the Spain's Minister of Inclusion, Social Security and Migration. Your Holiness, allow me to begin with a simple but deeply human conviction. We are all new somewhere over the course of our lives. We are so when we are born. We are so when we change cities, jobs, or communities. We are new when we form a family. And we are new also as those, and so too are those who cross borders seeking safety, dignity, or opportunity. All of us at some point have needed someone to extend a hand to us in order to turn the unknown into home.
España conoce bien esa experiencia.
Spain knows this experience well. We are a country of immigrants and also a country of welcome. Millions of Spaniards had to leave in other times in search of work, freedom, or a future. And today millions of people arrive in our land with that same hope, to contribute, to work, to build, and to be part of it.
León XIV, en este tiempo nuevo para la Iglesia y para el mundo, deseo trasladarle también el compromiso de España con una visión
Your Holiness, Leo XIV, in this new time for the Church and for the world, I also wish to convey to you Spain's commitment to a profoundly human vision of mobility, inspired by the inviolable dignity of every person, and by the conviction that no one should be defined solely by the place they come from or by the circumstances that force them to leave. For this reason, our migration policy seeks to be sustained by 3 inseparable principles: humanity, regularity, and coexistence. Humanity, because no person can be reduced to a number or a statistic. Regularity, because borders and rules must be managed responsibly, and because a regular administrative status also constitutes an essential basis for dignity, autonomy, and full participation in society. And coexistence, because integration means building community, rights, and shared responsibilities. Your Holiness, in Spain there is a text that millions of people hear at decisive moments in their lives. You know it well because we read it when we celebrate marriages. I am referring to the first letter to the Corinthians, when St. Paul writes, "Love is patient, love is kind, love is not envious, does not boast, is not puffed up." He also reminds us that if I do not love, I am nothing more than a resounding gong. These words accompany those who decide to unite their lives in order to undertake a common project. Perhaps we can find there a beautiful analogy to better understand migration and coexistence among peoples. Because when a person arrives in a place, and that place receives him or her, a common project also begins. It is not an instant or simple bond. As happens in any human relationship, it requires time, effort, shared responsibility, and the willingness to understand the other. And as happens in the marriages we celebrate in our churches, that common project can be sustained if it is based on love, understood as commitment, and on generosity understood as a mutual recognition. Those who arrive here have the duty to participate, respect, and contribute. Those who welcome have the responsibility to open spaces of belonging and dignity, because welcoming with love also means making it possible for each person to bring out the best in himself or herself. Because integration is not the renunciation of who we are, it is the shared construction of who we want to be. Spain has learned that a cohesive society is not born from raising walls between neighbors, but from building bridges between people. That diversity, when well managed, strengthens our economies, rejuvenates our societies, and broadens our human horizons.
Pero precisamente por eso necesitamos respuestas serenas.
We also know that challenges exist. Border management, the fight against mafias that traffic in human beings, and the struggle against hate speech. But precisely for that reason, we need calm responses based on facts, values, and international cooperation. Your Holiness, you have reminded us many times, and especially in these days, that behind every migrant there is a face, a story, and a hope. That humanist gaze is more necessary today than ever, because in the end all of us have needed to be welcomed at some point. All of us have been strangers somewhere, and all of us aspire to something deeply simple, to find a place where we can live, care for our loved ones, and feel that we are part of something greater.
Hoy somos testigos de este compromiso colectivo. La colaboración entre administraciones públicas, entidades sociales y ciudadanía para convertir un paraje de eucaliptos en un referente de acogida y atención humanitaria. Porque al final todos hemos necesitado alguna vez ser
We have all needed at some point to be welcomed to some new place, and all of us desire something stronger, something deeper. And we all want to feel something greater. If we embrace that simple truth which the Church reminds us of, perhaps we can build stronger, more just, and more human societies. Thank you very much. And that was the Spain's Minister of Inclusion, Social Security, and Migration, who goes up to greet the Holy Father and receives a rosary in return. And now we will hear from the director of the Las Raíces Center.
Santo Padre, autoridades, personas acogidas y trabajadoras de este centro.
Holy Father, authorities, persons received here, and workers of this center. It is a profound honor for us to receive your visit today at the Las Raíces First Arrival Center in Tenerife. Your presence here not only honors us, but also places the focus on a reality that day by day we live in this place. This center, opened in 2021, was born as a response to a complex reality that demands commitment, solidarity, and responsibility. I want to highlight the sustained effort of the Spanish state, which owns this center, as part of its responsibility in welcoming and caring for the people who arrive on our coasts. Since its opening, we have welcomed more than 54,000 people. Behind each one of them there is a story, a difficult journey, and above all, a hope. Our work consists in offering them a dignified, human, and organized first welcome at an especially difficult moment, immediately upon their arrival by sea. This work would not be possible without a team of people sustaining it. Nearly 600 people work at the center with immense professionalism, vocation, and commitment to the dignity of each person welcomed. Their daily work turns this space into something more than a center. It turns it into a place of real welcome. Las Raíces is, in essence, a meeting point, a space where complex life journeys converge, and where we offer, from both an institutional and human standpoint, a first opportunity. On behalf of the entire center, I want to thank you for your presence, for your closeness, and for the message of hope that you represent. Thank you very much. That was the director of the Las Raíces Center here in Santa Cruz de Tenerife. He goes and greets the Holy Father. And now we'll have, I believe,
Yo me llamo Taiwo, yo soy de Nigeria. Soy uno de los migrantes, Leo. Su santidad. Gracias por recordar al personas migrantes.
Excuse me.
A las familias que dejaron su país y empezaron una nueva vida lejos de casa. Muchas veces el camino es difícil.
Migrant from
Tristeza y también
Nigeria.
Pero sus palabras nos dan fuerza
His name
y
is
esperanza
Taiwo.
para seguir adelante.
He's 37 years old, arrived in Tenerife 2 months ago, and married with 2 children, ages 8 and 12. In Nigeria, he was a welder and had his own metal workshop. Your Holiness, thank you for listening to migrants, to the families who left their country and began a new life far from home. Many times, the road is difficult. There is fear, sadness, and also loneliness. But your words give us strength and hope to keep moving forward. We come with simple dreams, to work, to care for our families, and to live with dignities. And we feel that you look upon migrants with respect and affection. And thank you for reminding the world that we are all persons, that we need love, peace, and opportunities. Today we want to tell you with great respect that we pray for you, and we are grateful for your close heart. May God bless you. And now he goes and greets the Holy Father. And now another migrant is welcoming, greeting the Holy Father. Holy Father, thank you for being here today in this land which for many of us has meant the first place of hope. After a long journey of suffering,
el primer lugar de esperanza después de un largo camino de sufrimiento. Hoy hablo ante usted, no solo en mi nombre.
Today I speak before you not only in my own name, but in the name of many immigrants who have left behind their home, their family, and their life in search of safety, peace, and dignity. We come from countries where poverty, violence, war, persecution, and the lack of opportunities forced us to leave. No one abandons their land, their family, and their roots of their own will when they can live in peace. We left behind our memories, our loved ones, and a part of our heart, with the hope of finding a better life.
Pero el camino hasta llegar aquí no fue fácil. El trayecto estuvo lleno de miedo, dolor e incertidumbre.
But the road to arrive here was not easy. The journey was full of fear, pain, and uncertainty. Crossing dangerous routes, especially the Atlantic Ocean, toward the Canary Islands, means facing hunger, cold, desperation, and many times death. Many brothers and sisters lost their lives at sea, and others continue to suffer in silence, victims of mafias that take advantage of need and human suffering. Today, from this land of welcome, the Canary Islands, we want to raise a simple but deeply human request: dignity. We ask that borders not become walls, of indifference, that we not be seen only as immigrants, numbers or documents, but as persons with a story, with dreams, with families, and with hope. Our humanity must always be above any legal condition.
También queremos expresar nuestro agradecimiento. Gracias a la
We also want to express our gratitude, thanks to the Church, to the welcoming communities, to the organizations, and to all the people of solidarity who extended a hand to us when we arrived with fear, exhaustion, and uncertainty. Thank you for offering us refuge, listening, and an opportunity to rebuild our lives. Holy Father, your presence today in the Canary Islands represents a light for us, for those of us who often have no voice. We ask you to pray for those who lost their lives along the way, for those who are still crossing seas and borders in search of safety, and for those of us who struggle each day to build a dignified future in peace and with hope. We do not ask for privileges. We do not ask for compassion. We ask for respect, humanity, and the opportunity to live with dignity. Thank you very much. And the lady who just spoke, a migrant, goes and greets the Holy Father. And the Holy Father will now deliver his address to the migrants gathered here and who have been received by this Las Raíces First Arrival Center in Tenerife.
A las autoridades presentes, un saludo.
To the authorities, a greeting, dear brothers and sisters. They spoke in Spanish and I prepared in French.
And maybe some English also.
And maybe a little bit.
We have some who are English speaking also. Chers frères et sœurs, bonjour.
Dear brothers and sisters, good morning. I would like to thank the minister and the director of this center for their kind words. Today in the church, we celebrate the solemnity of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. For Christians, Jesus' heart symbolizes God's merciful and infinite love for every human being. In this context, it is providential that we can come together, see one another, and above all recognize that no matter where we come from, God's love knows no borders, makes no distinctions, is given to all, and brings us together in unity.
En voyant vos visages, en écoutant vos témoignages, je pense aussi à vos cœurs, blessés par tant de difficultés, mais aussi consolés par l'amour reçu.
As I look at your faces and listen to your stories, I also think of your hearts, wounded by so many difficulties, yet also comforted by the love that you have received from others, open, generous, and merciful hearts. Christ's heart was suffered and was pierced out of love, and he was comforted by compassionate people who eased his pain. Jesus explained this universality of love by using an example of an act of service. A stranger from a foreign town and another religion took pity on a wounded and mistreated man. Motivated by the love of God, which urges us to heal others' wounds and to be charitable toward those who suffer, Saint Brother Peter and Saint Joseph of Anchieta set sail from these Canary Islands to preach the gospel in America, opening new missionary horizons. They too were migrants who ventured into the unknown, carrying faith, hope, and charity as their greatest possessions.
Sur ces terres inconnues, 60 migrants et missionnaires ont se donné ce qu'ils avaient, tout en accueillant ce qui leur était offert. Je vous invite également à faire don du trésor d'humanité, du rêve et des cultures.
In these unknown lands, the holy migrants and missionaries shared what they had, and likewise welcomed the new things that were offered to them. I also invite you to share the treasures of your humanity, of your dreams, and of your culture, which you have brought to these islands, and to be open to receiving what is offered to you. We must live this exchange responsibly, considering the future generations to whom we wish to bequeath the heritage of a civilization of love. Migration will play an important role in this, as it can become an opportunity for encounter and mutual enrichment among peoples. Dear brothers and sisters, in a sense, all of us are migrants, for we are all pilgrims on our way to our heavenly homeland. Let us help make this journey more humane for everyone by contributing in whatever way we can. In this regard, I am grateful for the collaboration of the government, various institutions, and the many men and women of goodwill whose collaboration makes this concrete humanitarian aid possible, restoring hope and giving dignity to so many people.
Le nom de cet centre d'accueil, Las Raíces, les racines, a retenu mon attention. Mon prédécesseur, le cher Pape François, qui désirait tant être parmi vous.
The name of this reception center, Las Raíces, the roots, caught my attention. My predecessor, Pope Francis, who so longed to be with you, liked to use the image of roots to emphasize the importance of remembering our origins, staying united, and trusting in the Lord. For those who trust in the Lord are like a tree planted by water, sending out its roots by the stream. It shall not fear when the heat comes, and its leaves shall stay green. May this image of roots also help you to be firmly rooted in the Lord, so that no storm may drive you away from His presence, which strengthens and gives life. Dear friends, I carry you in my heart and will remember you in my prayers. May God bless you, your families, and all who do good to you. And may the Blessed Virgin Mary, consolation of migrants, also accompany and assist you with her maternal protection. Thank you very much. And now the Holy Father is being presented with a gift from the center. The Holy Father shook the man's hand. He's also now greeting one of the volunteers, or the staff here at the Las Raíces Center, which is run by Axim. And the Holy Father is coming down and is going to greet the migrants. He sees a young girl and picks her up in his arms and smiles for the camera. The Holy Father greeting the children. Hugging each of them. Greeting their parents. Blessing. And the Holy Father is making his way along, greeting the staff and volunteers, the authorities. This one little girl keeps coming with the Pope and following him. And he greets a lady and with a little baby girl. The Holy Father now greeting several migrants welcomed by this facility, several male migrants. The Holy Father is still making his way along. The fence is set up here in the Las Raíces Center. Made his way all the way down to the journalists gathered at the end of the line. And now it appears he will be returning to the papal car to go to the next venue, the next encounter, which will be an encounter with the with integration groups who assist in the integration of migrants into Spanish society. It will take place at the Plaza de Cristo, the Square of Christ, one of the main squares of the island of Tenerife, which is known especially for the church of the Real Santuario del Cristo de la Laguna, So the royal sanctuary, the royal shrine of Christ of the Laguna. The Holy Father is now visiting one of the tents set up here and greets the migrants. The Holy Father is making his way through this tent with beds set up and lockers, and greeting and shaking the hands of each of the men hosted here. The Holy Father is still making his way through and in front of other tents that welcome migrants. Stopping for a moment to greet a few of them gathered in one of the tent, to ask about them and briefly about their names and situations. And with that, we conclude this live broadcast of Pope Leo XIV's visit to the Las Raíces migrant for initial arrival facility here in Tenerife. My name is Devin Watkins. It's been a pleasure to provide the English language translation for this papal event. Please visit our Vatican News web portal, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube accounts for coverage of today's event and other Vatican and world news. On behalf of Vatican Media, I'd like to thank our in-studio audio technician and our audio coordinator, and all of our media partners on television and radio. And thank you all for joining us. Laudetur Jesus Christus, praised be Jesus Christ.
una experiencia fatal. Esa es la última fatal.